standing not only for Sound Pocket, but also to open up the Listening Biennale for everyone. So this note I need to make is on the title. I am citing Sullivan's idea. Art is a part of the world, but it's also apart from the world. And I guess we all can have an understanding of what it means to be a part of the world. We are a part of each other, so that's sort of the easy part. The second part may be a little bit more ambiguous. My reading of Sullivan's idea is that to be apart from the world doesn't mean that one becomes a hermit and hide in a secluded place, alone and isolated from everything or everyone else. It is rather to hold hope that there is always the possibility to bring out alternatives to make the world more livable for ourselves and for everyone. Yesterday, in the workshop led by Joseph Lee, who came with Lo Yok Mui and who came also with Lam Ip, I witnessed another way of understanding converging or convergence. Rain, as performed by human bodies, transform into rivers. Joseph and the participants reclaimed a much thicker or even stickier meaning of converging. To be with, as Brandon said in his Poetics of Listening lecture yesterday. The with is of proximity, to be close, to stay close, but not fusion as in the loss of oneself. Proximity preserves and allows for friction, which AI tends to smooth out. The community of rain becoming river yesterday reclaimed the act of converging. Scenery in Cantonese is a composite term and it's read as phong cảnh. So literally the first character means wind. The other character means a view. So I think of this as a view always already conveying wind, which is a configuration of air. Wind always already moves a view, or a view is in movement. What's idle doesn't constitute a view. Idleness is different from stillness, though. I think the tree just shown shows us stillness in movement. But I'll tell you here that little story anyway, because I promised stories. It was pure serendipity that I encountered the art historian and critic John Burgess' book, The Shape of a Pocket. The cover photo of the vintage international edition shows a multitude of people scattered but together on perhaps a mountain top under an overcast sky, as if wondering, waiting, listening, dwelling, doing nothing. The image becomes our vision, to be guided by serendipity and spontaneity, to be with each other but without imposing any totalizing purpose, except to explore as we move along, as we encourage artists curious about listening to show up. It's not easy to show up. I have followed trees since I was young. They have witnessed me growing up, growing tall, and growing old. This cluster of, or constellation of banyan trees are on our Victoria Peak, and I started going there when I was a few years old, and this was a few years ago. There is a spirituality that I found in them. Trees give me courage. They remind me I am never alone. I can always follow them to go deeper. I can always follow them to find peace. I begin with these sceneries of life, of lives that trees give us, because our work at Sound Pocket has been built around them. We have had their blessings. Sound Pocket was founded 2 years after the Star Ferry Clock Tower and Pier and the adjacent Queen's Pier were demolished. At the time, I already knew Sume Ze's work from the 2003 Venice Biennale. Sume is half Taiwanese, half European. I remember in Venice standing in front of this video installation in the Luxembourg National Pavilion thinking, I hope more people in Hong Kong can experience it. It's a 5-minute video installation called The Echo. And this is the diary, somewhat, that I wrote at the time. And I'll read an excerpt for you. The solo exhibition was titled Air Conditioned. I see a woman in red sitting with her back to us. She's a tiny dot in the midst of the lush green of the mountains. She is playing the cello. It is not a performance, but an image that at once manifests a multitude. The continuity of space, a trajectory of beauty that moves in the air, and the boundlessness of a shelter that holds up all that which trembles for her and for that which comes into the encounter. The installation dissipates all nameable coordinates around it, the screen, the walls, the mansion, the place, dare I say, me. And that's added on now, today. Her work then opened up everything in art for me. Our dialogue with ourselves between music and silence, our connection and convergence with nature, what changes and what stays still. The work was a gift and a guide. My angel. The juxtaposition between inhabiting and being caught up, I find challenging and thought-provoking. And also his way of embracing fluxes, the constant changes that we cannot even sort of pin down. We have no words to describe. I think it's Deleuze and Guattari who would say this is the kind of game that artists play. We experience how listening with each other in the open offers help in coming closer to what it is to inhabit planet Earth together, or planet Ocean rather. When was the last time you screamed with others? We screamed with artists. It was a screaming party we organized a few years ago. It was pure hiking, nothing else. And we buttress, we hold tight, we stay light, we share, we walk, we listen. This is artist Gabriel Civil's workbook for experiments in joy. It continues to inspire. The workbook begins with the heading, Trajectory of Joy. And there are 2 questions. Well, 3, in fact, I have chosen. To the first question, what comes to mind when you think of joy? And it's a question for you as well. I hope you find it interesting. I would say, from our point of view, when I spend time with Soundpocketers, with whom we share trust, with whom I can speak my mind and imagine the future right now, I am nested in joy. To the second question, I would say, joy is when my body receives breezes, bird songs, artist voices, and the silences between them. There is more, but this isn't about me. It's about how we are led to reimagine ourselves as custodians of stories of and with artists that have come through us. To the third question, how can we move through or without fear? I say, move together, move with fear in order to be without it.
I worked at Soundpocket from 2011 to 2015. Where I mainly was responsible for the library project. And this is the library. And the library is an online sound archive. This is one of the sound professionals we interview. He is a transmitter radio designer. And also we interview the Foley artists in the Hong Kong film industry. As an artist, I think working in Soundpocket is a very exceptional experience because I trained as a visual artist. And when I was in Soundpocket, it's really new for me to learn some term like deep listening or attentive listening. It's a totally different training when I was in the Art Institute. So during my time in Soundpocket, I meet a lot of artists like Akio Suzuki and also Yannick Dalby. Yes, when I was in Soundpocket, I learned a various of field recording technique, of course. But I think working in the Soundpocket, the thing impact me the most is I learned the philosophy of sound. And also I learned a lot of technique from the artists like Yannick Dalby. And when I I remember one time, we go out together for a mentorship program at the night. We record the sound of the fruit bat in Hong Kong. As we walk, he just gently remind me to be aware of my footstep. Because when we interacting with the soundscape, our every single sound we make is also part of the soundscape and continuously interacting with the environment and the recording that we are listening to. So gradually I try to incorporating field recording into my work. So I gradually incorporating field recording in my work of the river of Hong Kong is called Ung Tung River. I'm fascinated with the river because this river is the border, the electric border between Hong Kong and China. As you will see in this image I captured from the Google map, the river separate, create an electric border between Hong Kong and China. Yeah, in my video installation, I try to incorporating field recording technique in my work, and gradually I developed my interest about the acoustic memory. So I just continuously working with sound at the same time focus on my video creation. I think sound is giving me another perspective when I'm doing artwork, because I can use this fun way to engage a topic. So sound become one of the angle for me to investigate history and also exploring the world.